So I've been working remotely for the past 6 years, and something I notice a lot of people who are new to remote work kind of fall into is the distractions in their workspace and just distractions on their actual computer and from their phone that just makes it difficult for them to focus on their work, get work done fast and efficiently, and just be able to meet milestones, meet deadlines. All these distractions are just going to extend out the time it takes to finish something. It's not a good habit to have for personal life, and it's not a good habit to have for your professional life. I was able to quickly find out a way to break free from all these kind of distractions and be fully focused when I'm working on stuff from home. And the biggest thing here, of course, is the phone. We all know that the phones are super distracting with all the different apps. You got the social media, the doom scrolling. Sometimes you'll just be working from home and you'll just instinctually grab your phone and just be on it. And the next thing you know, like 40 minutes go past. So when you were supposed to clock out at like 3, all of your work you still have to do. Like now you're working until like 6 or 7, and then more work piles on and it piles on, and then next thing you know, you're so behind on everything. So the method that I discovered for not getting distracted and making your phone distraction proof is going to guarantee you a result. If you do this, there's no way to get distracted from your phone because it will literally be impossible to do. So I think the biggest thing to understand here is that it's not just the distraction that's holding you back. It's really just some negative mental anchors that are, kind of pushing you into these bad habits, into these tendencies that just don't really help you progress and achieve your goals and focus. And the most common ones that I can think of are fear of failure, procrastination, not having any clear goals with the work you're doing or what you're spending your day on, bad habits, and of course the comfort zone, right? Like, why would I want to go study and learn this new skill when I already know all these other skills, and learning this new skill is going to be hard to do, right? These are just the biggest 5 culprits in holding you back from really having a great remote work career. So obviously we have to break down these old bad habits and create new habits that will help support us to accomplish the goals, to help support us to be able to get into deep work mode and focus on what we need to get done. So what we want to do is transform these bad habits into good habits. So instead of mindlessly scrolling all day, you're focused working all day. Instead of hitting snooze and like not waking up and kind of just laying in bed, you want to wake up the first second that your alarm goes off, right? Instead of negative self-talk and doubting yourself and putting yourself down, you want to make daily affirmations so that you can feel confident in the goals you want to achieve. You can feel confident in yourself and the work that you are trying to do. And it is a very simple process. I'm going to actually show you exactly how to break one of these bad habits right now. So mindless scrolling, this is one of the biggest culprits of unfocused work. It's the mindless scrolling. Right now, the phones and the social media apps, the way that they're engineered, is really, really addictive. And again, like I mentioned, you could just find yourself chilling, working at home, and the next thing you know, you're just on your phone scrolling through TikTok. So that is definitely the number one thing that you need to now solve, right? So this is how I solved it, and this worked so well. And I don't even really use those kind of apps anymore, especially when I'm focused and like during like work hours. Like I'm never even on my phone actually, because I was able to set up the system that I laid out here. So first thing you want to do is just download ScreenZen. So this is one of those app blockers, but specifically you want to choose this one because there are certain settings that you can set in ScreenZen that help make this literally work perfectly. If you use the normal iPhone screen time, it's so easy to get around it. If you try to use these other screen time apps, they're usually so like over bloated, or they're so like fancy, or they don't really work, right? This is the only screen block app that I found that actually worked for me. So you're going to go on ScreenZen, you're going to click add app group. Using the search bar, you're just going to click all the apps that you are like doom scrolling on during work hours or just in general, right? It's just good to just break this habit in general. So usually these are social media and video games. Biggest culprits: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever is your choice of time wasting is what you want to choose. So you want to click save. you're going to scroll down to strict block, and you're going to change the fields in the daily goal container to 3 times for 10 minutes each. You're going to open the strict block container, and then you're going to click options in the bottom bar. So click lock screen sends settings. You toggle on the lock settings timer, and then you set lock settings time to 60 minutes. So the issue with all the other screen block apps is that you're the one who set up the app. So since you turned it on, you have the power to turn it off whenever you feel like it. And what's going to happen is you're going to do this habit because you're going to get the cue. You're going to be bored. That's the cue to do the habit of, okay, I'm bored, so I'm going to scroll on TikTok. You're going to open TikTok and the screen block's going to be on. Now, you know when you set that screen block that means, okay, when I see that screen block, I shouldn't go on TikTok. Your brain doesn't care though, right? Your brain says, I don't care, I'm bored, and I know how to turn this off, so I'm going to do it. So you're going to just go turn off the screen blocker. You're going to find a way to put on cooldown or something, and then you're just going to go scroll again, right? This prevents that. For you to turn off the screen block settings, you need to wait an hour, which means you're not able to turn this off. This is literally on. You can't turn it off. The only way to turn it off is to set the emergency settings unlock to a $5 tip. And they have screens then on a computer, which is also good. I recommend also setting this up on your computer. This is specifically for like smartphones. If you now want to go turn off the screen block and scroll on TikTok, you have to pay $5 to do that. And this is a really good method because it helps make the actual price you're paying tangible. You don't feel the negative effects of doom scrolling until it catches up to you, until it's too late, until you've been doom scrolling for 2 years and now the whole entire industry has shifted and you're so behind on all the skills and everything you need to learn to stay competitive and keep getting raises and keep a job and stuff like that. You know, you can't turn back the hands of the clock. You can't just, ignore that. At a certain point, it gets to a point where you can't just keep scrolling and coping, right? The issue is that you don't realize that until it's too late. This tells you the price you're paying. Like it adds a literal physical price to these bad habits. And that's the most important part of like breaking a bad habit, making the pain of the bad habit tangible and immediate. The thing with bad habits is that we're using them to cope and push off feelings of being uncomfortable, push off feelings of anxiety, when really it's just making those stronger and stronger, but it's very invisible to you because it's not immediate. So sure, you can go ahead, like you can set up the system and you can scroll TikTok every day if you want to, but it's going to start costing you money. So if you unlock it for the entire week, you unlock it once every single day for a whole week, that just costs $25, $30, right? You're literally forcing yourself to not doom scroll. And that's why the doom scroll is actually the biggest bad habit. Also want to toggle on prevent app uninstall. This just stops you from just like deleting the app and then unlocking everything, because depending on how bad your screen addiction is, your brain is going to hate this. But if you actually want to fix this bad habit of mindlessly scrolling when you should be at home working on your job, your career, your business, you need to go all in and be 100% about that, or else you're going to just keep having this bad habit just reappear and keep dragging you down. We need to now come to the second part where we're going to build a good habit to replace the bad habit. So instead of doom scrolling and just wasting your life on Instagram and TikTok, what you're going to do is you're going to do focused work, because the work you do is going to be important for your career, for your personal life. It's going to help you unlock new opportunities. It's going to help you become a better person overall, improve your character, improve your mindset, improve your knowledge, improve your skill set. These are all things that help you become a more well-rounded person. So you want to start building good habits that help push you into becoming that kind of person. So the old habit was, when I'm bored, I will scroll TikTok. And now the new habit that you're going to make is, when I'm bored, I will practice Python. And this can be anything. You can replace this with whatever is relevant to the skills that you're trying to learn to the field that you work in for whatever kind of remote work career you want, or if you're starting your own business, anything that is going to get you progress and is relevant and in line with the goal that you're setting for yourself. But for me particularly, I chose Python. So first thing you want to do is download Solo Learn. You're going to sign up for an account and start the Introduction to Python module. So whenever you instinctively go to doom scrolling, you'll soon be met with the screen time blocker. When you see the screen time blocker, you remember that you can't doom scroll, and instead you open Solo Learn and work on Python instead. You're going to be working on something or in your room. You're going to get a little bit bored, right? You're going to grab your phone. You're going to go to the app that you just mindlessly scrolled through, and you're going to see the screen block. I really don't feel like paying the $5 to turn this off. Let me go just do a couple Python things instead. If you actually are actually bored, you're probably going to actually just put down your actual phone and just get back to work though. Like that's what I noticed when I did this. Even though I said like the new habit is when you're bored, you'll practice Python. I found myself just actually working on the kind of stuff I need to work on in the first place. It's definitely a simple process of breaking this kind of bad habit. This is just a full chart just so that you can understand what exactly this is going to look like. So this is just how you do it from just start to end. So you identify the old habit. It could be any of these negative anchors. You increase the friction of the bad habit. So that's what we did when we turned on this screen blocker app. And the important part about this step is the friction has to be as strong as the habit. So doom scrolling is a particularly difficult habit to break. So we had to get a little extreme with the friction that we're going to put on it. So did you figure out a new habit to replace it with? It's really important to just find something different to replace it with so that you're not kind of like just frustrated with the fact that you can't use the old habit that you were doing. You need something else to like put your like mind towards. You set up a system to like do the new habit. Make sure that it's similar to the old habit. So you see how I particularly said practice Python, but I'm talking about a mobile app and to like install a mobile app on your phone. That's because usually when you're doom scrolling on your phone. So we need the new habit to also be on the phone because we want the new habit to take the same cue as the old habit. You'll notice that the cue here is the same when I'm bored, because this is going to happen no matter what. If this is a bad habit you have, this part's going to happen no matter what you try to do, right? So now when this cue happens, you have a better thing to go to, right? But the cue has to be either exactly the same or very, very, very similar. And again, the actual habit that you're doing should be similar. They're pretty much the same thing, but this one is going to ruin your life a lot less. And then yes, decrease the friction for the new habits. Make it very obvious. Put a big widget of it on your phone home screen. Actually go implement these changes. Like you need to actually go follow these steps. That's the only way you will ever make progress on anything, is actually taking action on it. And then, after a while, this will just be instinct. Like you just won't be a doom scroller anymore. Don't turn off screen set. Don't say, oh, I'm cured, and then get rid of screen set. No, because you're just going to fall back into the same bad habit. Addiction is a strong word, but that's how you got to kind of treat this. Don't let your brain trick you into thinking that you just magically cured this thing. You can easily find yourself slipping back into the bad habit without even realizing it. This has to be part of your actual lifestyle, right? If you're still paying the like $5 every time that you want to doom scroll, that means that you need to increase the friction of the bad habit. So instead of setting this to $5 tip, double it, make it a $10 tip. So now every time you doom scroll, instead of it costing you $5, it now costs $10, and that adds up a lot faster, right? It's just the consequences, right, of the bad habit. Sometimes you just need to make it a little bit harsher, because I'd rather have the $10 tip be the consequence of it than something that can actually affect your life in a really bad way. And with this process, of course, there's patience, right? It's going to feel bad, and You're going to be uncomfortable, but that's what actual progress is. You need to focus on incremental progress. It helps you practice patience and it helps you practice discipline. So don't try to fix all these at once. You're going to get overwhelmed. It's going to be too complicated, and it's the perfect excuse to quit, right? Just do one at a time. That's one less bad habit, one less negative mental anchor pulling you back. And then eventually, with consistency and intensity, you need to be consistent, but you also need to be urgent. That is how you make progress. Consistency and intensity. You want to apply that to everything you possibly can. So soon, you will be someone who has a lot of positive mental anchors. And this makes you so much of a more fulfilled person. You will have confidence. You will be productive. You will have a clear goal. You will have good habits, and you will have growth zone. It's going to take a while, but it's guaranteed results as long as you just literally allow the process to work. So what you want to do is compound the results of all that stuff you just did, right? So you want to start, you're going to pick a new habit, right? Learn Spanish, learn coding. Once you've done that and you successfully built this new habit, you're going to go on to step 2, which is pick a second one. Repeat, and then you just repeat this process until you have all positive mental anchors. And this is how you reach a goal. This is the way I recommend it. This is how I personally do it. It has worked for me so far. It continues to work, and I'm going to keep doing it. I genuinely believe that this is the best way to accomplish a goal. So what if you don't have a goal for yourself? And I think that's the biggest issue with this, is that like a lot of people don't have a clear-minded life goal for themselves in terms of like what they want to achieve and how they want to go achieve that. And I was definitely in this same position as well. This was when I actually discovered the concept of remote work. So I think this is a great place to start. This is how I got my start. I still work in remote tech. I love it, and it's changed my life completely. I can't imagine how my life would have turned out if I didn't really invest myself into this field and really just it helped build me into just a really great person. So this is what I recommend. It is kind of difficult to get a remote job. It is a very difficult thing to do, but it is worth it. My recommendation on how to actually solve that is figure out what skills are in demand, learn those skills, build a portfolio, and then go try to land your first role, because you just need your foot in the door to get started. And this applies to basically anything you want to really do. Just learn the skills, be able to display that skills to someone who can hire you to do that as a paid job. If you are interested in remote work, I do have a program where I teach you how to land a remote job, particularly in quality assurance. So within 90 days, you will know everything you need to know to get an entry-level job in quality assurance, but also how to work and operate as if you were already a quality assurance lead. And this is what's going to set you apart from everyone else. I want to teach you even deeper into that, like how to have the mindset of someone who is already successful as a remote worker, as a tech worker, before you even have the first job. From what I've seen, because I've been in programs with a lot of people who are trained from scratch to try to get tech jobs, the people who land the actual good, high-paying tech jobs are the people who had the mindset of, I'm already someone who takes this serious. And you can see below, I just put a little screenshot. I've just been helping people throughout Discord and like different tech communities. I help them out. I give them advice. I help them with their resume, their portfolio. Here goes one of my friends. I was able to get him a job. And yeah, like I said, the hardest part is the first step. But once you're able to get that first offer, it can really just skyrocket. So overall though, back to the overall point of this is that you really do need to start building good habits, because if you continue to let the bad old habits fester and grow, it's going to be very, very difficult to get your life back on track.